My name is Dr. Jill Marshall, and I'm a Senior Lecturer in the Department of Law at Queen Mary University of London. I'm the author of the study guide for the human rights of women on the University of London International Programmes. The issue I'm going to address today is developments at an international level to legally protect women against sexual violence. International human rights law claims to protect everyone in the world, but it has traditionally been most visible when it protects people from violations committed by their own country's government. So, for example, physical torture by state police of a person in custody would be an international human rights violation. Research conducted by activists and writers has highlighted and investigated sexual violence, which predominantly happens to women because of their sex or gender. In the international human rights field, it has been shown that such behaviour has traditionally not been seen as a human rights violation. One of the reasons for this is that many of these acts are carried out by individual men, not as public servants of the state, but in their private lives. So, for example, violence against women occurs behind the closed doors of the home, in domestic abuse by intimate partners, and in unwanted sexual intrusions, violence and rape, often by men known to them. As such, the acts are not traditionally seen as having much to do with the state or the government. Although violence against women has been described by the United Nations as a global phenomenon, I want to focus on one court case to illustrate how protection against such sexual violence is now clearly provided by international human rights law. Recently, in Bulgaria, a girl alleged rape by two men known to her. Although she complained to the police, their investigation didn't get far because of insufficient proof that the girl had been compelled or coerced into having sex against her will by means of physical force or threats. This was required under Bulgarian law. Although the men involved were not acting in any state or public role, it was successfully argued before the European Court of Human Rights that the girl's human right to be free from torture, inhuman and degrading treatment, and her separate human right entitling her to a private life were both violated. That was because the Bulgarian government failed to have in force effective laws and enforcement mechanisms like the ability to properly investigate, prosecute and punish in such cases. Even though the individual men may have been responsible for the specific acts involved, the state was held responsible for failing in its international human rights obligations to protect the girl in the face of sexual violence. These issues and much more are covered in depth in the Human Rights of Women module, which is part of the law's postgraduate programme.